universe you have a fallout, but
no. What universe you walk into, bro?
Good question. The universe of my room. Thank you very much.
See if I could spot you there, right? Anyway, lead it on. First of all, before we say anything, this is not going to be a spoiler-free review. We do have spoilers in this.
We getting straight into it, bro.
Yeah. If you didn't see the movie, this is your one and only chance to back out the video.
I'm weak. So he said it.
Moving forward.
Listen, we saw the greatest animated movie over the last 5 years and possibly for the next 5 years. I promise you that. Unless...
Man said the next 5 years. You forget that part 2 about to drop.
Facts.
3. Well,
I
call it
we
part
got
3.
like how many plot lines going on?
3.
Yo, how many plot lines we got going on at the same time? 3. You got the one with Miles. You got the one with Spot. Then you got the one with the Spider.
I mean, it's all. It all ties in together. The point is,
it's a web.
This is
a web of plot lines.
This is a 2-part story following the first movie, of course. That beautiful intro movie, which is still absolutely beautiful. But dang, I mean, animation and stuff like that. I don't know how they animate like this, but my eyeballs was just bedazzled.
Yo, and then on top of the animation, that soundtrack. I think Hummingbird is probably in my top 3 off that soundtrack.
That's literally what I've been listening to Hummingbird for religiously.
Bags, bro. That's on my way to work, coming back from the...
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, there wasn't a single second wasted in that movie. Every single thing was pure perfection.
And you know what's funny? Right. There's been one of the knocks that people keep saying is the fact that because the movie is half of the story, then it's just like, that's why it's not a perfect movie as what, obviously it'll keep popping up, of course. But I mean, it's just like, you could,
just because it's designed to have a second part is not perfect? Well then, when the full thing comes out, it'll be perfect.
Well, yeah, I was saying, like, you can fully judge the movie once the next part comes in, all in. Anyways,
let me just say real quick, I'm calling out Puss in Boots. This movie did better than yours.
Slow down.
I'm calling out Puss in Boots, okay?
Slow down now.
This movie did better than it.
The same dudes was a part of the animation team for that. So it's just like, that's why the animation for both movies was incredibly crisp.
They topped themselves. Literally.
But the thing is,
bro, Across the Spiderverse is better than Puss in Boots.
Oh, in terms of the movie or the animation?
The story, the animation, everything. The soundtrack.
Well, yeah, I mean, the story is an overarching narrative. So hold
on. Let me chime in real quick. You gotta give them both their respects in their own rights. You got it. You took my chips, bro.
Wait, 3Ks? Oh no, Miles, run!
I didn't want to say it.
Let me see what nonsense y'all doing out here.
I didn't want to say
what Dante had.
I had a pair of kings.
Jaquan had the pair of kings. Damn.
So, pretty much what I was going to say is you got to give them the respect in their own rights. Spoilers for the Puss in Boots movie if you haven't seen the new one, by the way. But, bro, that storyline and that setup with that wolf, bro, that's not supposed to be compared. You're comparing Marvel to that.
I'm comparing
don't do that, bro.
How I feel to how I feel.
I mean, yeah.
Well, then,
you can do that.
Well, then, for the sake of a friendly podcast, forget how you feel, bro. I would have had other choice words.
This is friendly. I'm telling you.
No, this ain't friendly. Because you lying to yourself.
I ain't hear no complaints from Spiderverse, but I heard complaints about Puss in Boots. Let me just say that.
There's complaints about both movies, bro. Where you been at? Patrick's
Where?
bro.
All I heard was the audio.
That's what I was trying to tell you. Because obviously, a lot of people say the first third, right, it's a very slow building narrative aspect there. Right. But the issue is like, this is a 2-part movie. So the fact that they're taking the time to do so, it probably will let the second movie just flow as fast as possible without that need of setup. And then all those plot points that they built up will probably be like incredibly satisfied in the following movie. That's the whole thing with cliffhanger type movie. Because you know what's funny? The reception that's happening for this with the cliffhanger aspect, because obviously the movie ends in the cliffhanger. A dope cliffhanger if you ask. It's the aspect of Star Wars, for example. Star Wars was a trilogy of movies, right? And the second movie, Empire Strikes Back, in that original trilogy that dropped in the late 70s, mid-80s and whatnot, that ended in a cliffhanger-esque extent where all the heroes kind of got their booty cheeks clapped. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't spoiling the movie.
Hey, yo, nah.
But that reduced the impact of the movie, though.
But this is
yo, look. Before you even continue.
Wait, hold on. This is the thing about the cliffhanger aspect, though. You had to wait 3 years to see what happened next, right? And it was one of the craziest cliffhangers of all time, to the point where it has iconic memes about it. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't see that reception of, episode 5 is an incomplete movie, right? because we, you know what I'm saying, people had to wait for the last part to drop to know exactly how all those beats they built up in the previous one to end. But instead, people love that movie as probably their favorite one of the trilogy, the cliffhanger movie, right, where most of the stakes ended up happening, or things are in a dark extent where it's like, what the heck is gonna happen? The possibilities are endless.
Hence why that shouldn't be a reason to downplay the movie.
That's what my point is.
Because people were happy to wait for a Corey Kendrick video to come out, but they're not saying, "Oh, he's the worst YouTuber ever." I'm just saying.
but
you know, we comparing Corey Kendrick to Marvel.
I'm making all these comparisons. They make sense to me.
A huge, large, like budget scale kind of thing. And my thing is too is the amount of time it took them to animate this stuff. It's like, honestly, if they wanted to, once they announced that they were splitting this into 2 parts years ago, I was honestly excited for it, solely because I'm like, they have some huge ambition to do something. And those ambitions gave us the first movie, and it gave us a great follow-up. So I'm like, I want to see that ambition like land on that last one.
I like to point out the message that they put in the movie about controlling your own fate.
Yep.
Just because something is said to happen don't mean you gotta let it happen. Like, you could take an initiative and do the right thing. Everybody's just so caught in balance and order, they create an imbalance trying to cause it. Telling Miles he's supposed to just let his pops die like that just because it's supposed to be a set order? Yeah, I ain't rocking.
Yeah, but all the Spider-Man before him went through similar stuff.
Yeah,
they
built character.
Hold on. But now this time you know what can happen. He's seen it. Because look, let me point this out, right?
Yep.
If it was fated for it to happen, why was it also lined up for Miles to be able to see it there in the first place if he wasn't supposed to be able to do something about it? So you tell me, I'm going to let you know this happened, but I'm going to let you know for no reason?
Role.
No, that was not Gwen's
role. Was supposed to ignite everything.
All right, so then let me take it a step back further. Why was the spider that bit him in the wrong universe in the first place then if he wasn't the one supposed to get bit?
Spot. He literally goofed around with it.
Because science,
He messed around and it got warped.
But my whole point is because of Spot's goofiness, it ended up being Miles. Either way it happened, that was set already in stone. So if Miles was the wrong one, he technically wasn't supposed to be getting bit in the first place. It would have been the one in his universe.
I mean,
the original anomaly.
Yeah, he
original anomaly. How you become an original anomaly? Because you're supposed to set a bigger cause.
Damn.
We
gotta have. That's what I'm saying. We have to have a structure to this.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning.
It's difficult to do. Let's start at the beginning. My name's Miles Morales. I've been Spider-Man for like a year and 4 months.
Right.
And I somehow dipped and dodged over 1,000 Spider-Man that should have clapped my butt cheeks.
Mind you, while fighting the main villain of the movie in the local deli.
Like, you know what I mean? My man's had the craziest, like...
Nah, but you're right though. Before we get too into the plot, right? We could just discuss how it started off with Gwen. Then you had that teardrop or that blood dripping sky, which honestly was beautiful, and it kind of foreshadowed what was gonna happen in the future. Like I said, not a single second was wasted. They built it up with Gwen, starting about how she got into this ish, how she got into the whole multiverse angle, and then how she ended up meeting Miles.
Yeah.
And then she's starting off as like a supporting character, and then became this bigger role that.
Yeah, I was gonna say initially that's kind of how they're kind of prefaced in the first one. Think of it like this, right? Peter Parker specifically in the first movie was a huger aspect of the movies, right? The OG who eventually, who dies in the beginning of the movie, and Peter B. Parker who ends up being the mentor for Miles, right? But he's at the center focus for a big reason because he's supposed to do that guiding or passing of the torch towards Miles, right? But ultimately it's Miles' movie at the end of the day.
Right.
But in essence, he was the pupil that got put in the position at the end of the movie to really show what he has. In this movie, it's about Miles cementing himself as Spider-Man, like his own Spider-Man, not being in Peter's shadow, actually embodying the character for a time period on his own. And they got to give Gwen more of that aspect too, which makes Peter take a back seat in the narrative because we got more of Gwen and more of Miles.
It shows how good the storytelling was though, because you had all these Spider-Men, all these Peters really, and you had Gwen in the beginning, but Miles was still able to be the main character, which was beautiful.
Oh snap! Think of it like this: Peter was like that in the first movie. Because think about it: if we watched the movie again recently, the first one, you see how much focus the story has for him to help mentor Miles. You know what I mean? But obviously, he has his own important scenes in the movie as well. But he's chilling in the backseat for a reason. Why? Because it's up to the newer guys to really cement themselves, which was the Gwen aspect and Miles in and of himself. Right. Especially as Miles, we learned about his aspect of being the anomaly. He wasn't supposed to be Spider-Man at all.
Which is crazy. Imagine how does that make you feel? Like, It's a mistake. A mistake is why your life is the way it is.
I mean, Miles was supposed to be Spider-Man, just that was the wrong Miles.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing. The main timeline, Miles was never supposed to be
his doppelganger
Spider-Man
Miles, I guess, yeah.
Well, that world needed a Spider-Man, and it's a barren wasteland, as you can see. And its future protector is one of its worsened forces of darkness.
The Prowler.
Okay, let's segue more into the middle of the movie now. So let's get into it. They're traveling. Miles follows Gwen into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, the animation.
How do you feel about all the other Spider-Men? You know, seeing Indian Spider-Man, Spider-Punk.
Spider-Man of India.
Sorry, Spider-Man of India. My bad. Don't sue me, please. I don't.
That was supposed to happen. All that was supposed to happen. That's part of the fate that they kept talking about not interfering with. I keep saying it, like Miles doing everything that he did. It was all supposed to happen like that. They keep preaching against it.
We learned that in the beginning.
Yeah,
that he changes things.
Yeah, because he's some unique entity. Because think of it, Miguel's.
I'm sorry. In the end, we learned so.
One of the big characters of the movie is Miguel O'Hara, which is Spider-Man 2099. Right? He basically assembles the Spider Society to try to keep balance in the Spider-Verse, essentially. Dang, Brian, what you about to do?
I was about to say. It's been a while since we had a 3 of a kind.
So he's aware of Miles. Oddly, nothing negative really happened in his world. Well, to some extent, because we saw the Collider issue and whatnot. Right.
Which is kind of interesting, though. You see how basically the science fiction of the movie. It takes all this hard work and dangerous experimentation for just a less advanced society to just make a portal by accident. And then this guy comes out of nowhere, just like, oh yeah, I can just pop them out of nowhere. 2099 technology. Not spot. I'm talking about, yeah.
Oh yeah, his portal. Yeah.
If you were in their shoes, how would you feel if your destiny was to watch your family die, and if you did anything about it, you end up destroying the world?
But yeah, that's the concept of each different Spider-Man. Like,
but also at the same time too, that goes back to the point I made earlier. Then why be in a position to know about it where you could actually plot against it and do something about it? Because if the main threat is Spot, are you telling me you got thousands of Spider-Mans at your disposal that help you out with a situation? You over here thinking about not disrupting the balance and keeping Miles from going back, but how many Spider-Man could go back with him to stop it from happening and causing the disruption in the first place?
I mean, this is the thing. Miguel is like, it's set in stone. It doesn't matter what they do. Obviously,
then why do you make the organization?
No, it's
to make sure it happens.
Yeah, to keep balance in the Spider-Verse so it doesn't, go get obliterated. And the issue is Miles, who shouldn't have existed, and the Spot technically also shouldn't have either, because he's another anomaly technically.
But they happen. So you're going to keep Miles from going back, but you're not going to try to prevent Spot.
Of course he is. It's just that the Spot, they can't find him. That was the
Miles
whole point.
knows how to, but you're more focused on stopping Miles versus
he doesn't know where to find him. He knows that he's going back to his home, but he's not going to find him. Obviously, he knows Spot is trying to harm his family, but he can show up, pop up at any point in time. The man can instantly travel with dimensions.
So, for those who don't
we know when he's going to show up in 2 days.
Right.
Well, yeah, but for those who don't know, and honestly, if you don't know, you have issues. And you should not be watching this video. Right. But if you do, thank you very much. Spot is the antagonist. He can travel to different dimensions at will. Basically off of whatever black matter energy they get from particle colliders.
Yep.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's how he gets entangled and entangles Miles into this whole multiverse thing.
Well, he was created by Miles, and he's the one who caused Miles' creation. In essence, it's that duality of the laws of chaos created both of us. Thus, we are at opposite, on opposite ends.
Laws of chaos, the Bagel effect. Come on now. All right, let's just talk about the end real quick. How do you guys feel about that cliffhanger? After all that fighting, after all that effort to get back home, Miles ends up in the wrong universe. Yeah. And then
I love that part. That really, once you realize he was in the wrong place, that snap. Oh my goodness. And just once he sees that alternate self, and then we start to realize what was supposed to happen. What I loved about the movie is some of its ridiculous foreshadowing things. The foreshadowing was when the Spot basically said that he created Miles, right? And we saw the spider, right, for a quick second, because this movie does a lot of that stuff. And the first movie did it also, showing you things that pops up later on. But if you was watching every scene, you would have caught it earlier in. Where we see that version of Miles, right? The Prowler Miles. And you saw the spider was literally right about to bite him. Then it gets warped into Miles' world, right? But remember, it was looking for him. The spider was destined to bite him. So it finds Miles still and bites him. But it's not, what I'm saying?
It's not the right one.
So when you see Prowler Miles at the end and you just see the intertwining of fate there, it's just like Miles, both of them look at each other as if I could have been you at any point in time.
Which is what's crazy, because it's like, this actually brings up a whole nother thread, jokingly, about the whole multiverse thing, right? Because everything is connected by threads. So it's just crazy how everything's connected, how easily things could have just been changed by the drop of a coin.
Yeah.
Right. Just
or the bite of a spider.
Exactly. One switch of a spider changes the fate of two humans so drastically. It's kind of crazy.
But
it changes the fate, or was that fated to change?
Let's just get into the ratings. All right. I think this is gonna be a clean sweep, but for me, 5 out of 5, easy peasy. There's no ifs,
I was like 5 out of 5. My brain was like 5 out of 10. Oh, never mind.
Nah, come on now. 5 out of 5, better than Puss in Boots.
Out of 10.
I'm calling that.
I'm weak. Like I said, 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
I'd say like a 4.5 out of 5 for me. Can't give it a 5 out of 5.
Nonsense.
Definitely got to see how the next one comes about. But I thoroughly enjoyed it for certain.
Dante, redeem this man. What do you give it?
Nothing wrong with that.
Redeem him.
It's a part 1, so to me it's like I want the whole. I want the whole story. Nah, I want the average down. I want the finale to this story.
The finale doesn't affect the impact of this movie.
It does.
It will when it comes out.
Yeah, because
you're still able to enjoy the movie as it is.
Of course.
All right then.
But how it's designed is just a little different than other movies.
Okay, Dante, what's your take?
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
What's your reasoning?
I just wanted to see how you react. I'm going 5 too, bro.
Thank you.
Nah.